Alrighty guys, who's ready for another coaster countdown? I'm pretty sure you guys are. Today I'll be counting down the top 10 drops I've experienced on any roller coaster that I have ridden. I've ridden a little over 100 roller coasters, and today I bring to you the top 10 drops I've experienced. There are some drops that are better than others, so without further ado, let's get started. Coming at number 10 is Intimidator at Carowinds. Now, I had a little trouble deciding on which coaster to put at number 10, this or Kraken. However, I just had to give the slight edge to Intimidator just because the drop was just a lot of fun. And I also had some good airtime on it. And believe it or not, I rode this coaster about 3 times when I went to Carowinds, and I actually had a gray out on each of the rides I had on this, and it was during the exact same moment, the drop, which kind of surprised me. Which I remember this coaster, everyone's told me it was pretty forceless, so I was kind of surprised when I kind of grayed out, so it was a bit of an odd experience, but it was still a lot of fun. Definitely a good drop for sure. So let's move on to number 9, which goes to Fahrenheit at Hershey Park. Now, the thing with this one is that, this is a Beyond Vertical drop, and I've only ridden 2 roller coasters with Beyond Vertical drops, this and then Daredevil Dive at Six Flags Over Georgia. Of the 2 Beyond Vertical drops I've experienced, I definitely prefer this one. The Daredevil Dive just has those trims, which kind of ruins it for me. Which it's not a bad drop, but it's just I prefer this drop. But yeah, I rode it in the front row when I went to Hershey Park, and the drop was pretty cool. It is definitely a fun drop for sure. I wish I could have ridden this coaster in the back so I can get that airtime that I was hoping for. But I mean, this coaster is still fantastic. I was very impressed with all the inversions and stuff, and that one little airtime hill was pretty cool as well. So yeah, Fahrenheit's definitely a fun roller coaster, and the drop is fun too. Coming at number 8 is Superman Ride of Steel at Six Flags America, which this roller coaster surprised me. I was not expecting it to be that good. Which the thing was super impressed with was just the airtime was pretty fantastic. And especially those ejector hills towards the end, those were pretty serious. And it also kind of grayed out a little on this as well. Now talking about the drop was a lot of fun. I actually had a decent amount of air on the drop, which really surprised me. And I just think Superman's an underrated roller coaster. It's by far the best coaster at Six Flags America. It was just a fun ride, and there's no problem with that. So let's move on to number 7, which is going to Mind Blower at Fun Spot in Kissimmee. This roller coaster is a lot of fun. Now, this coaster does get mixed reviews. Some people don't like it because they say it's rough. Some people absolutely adore this thing. I'm in that second category. I adore this thing. This thing has some fantastic ejector. And while it is kind of rough, it is still so much fun, and I'm a big fan of that inversion. And here's the thing with this. I haven't ridden any RMCs yet, and I say this is the closest to an RMC from what I've ridden at the moment. It definitely kind of feels like an RMC. And believe it or not, my dad actually thought this coaster was built by RMC, believe it or not. So yeah, it does kind of have a layout of an RMC, which is definitely, I'm very impressed with. Definitely a good coaster to ride before Gwazi RMC in 2020. But getting to the drop is so much fun. Especially if you're in the back, you will get whipped through this drop with some serious ejector airtime, and it is just fan-freaking-tastic. So yeah, the drop is a lot of fun, this thing, but the whole coaster is just spectacular. So let's move on to number 6, which is going to be a bit of a surprise to some people. Not many people are going to expect this to be on this list. Number 6 is Expedition Everest at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Now, this coaster is definitely more of a family coaster than thrill coaster. It's certainly thrilling, and one of the most thrilling parts about this thing is the drop out of that mountain. A lot of people really like that drop. However, the drop on this thing is just fantastic. Especially if you're in a back row during a back row ride at night, going down that drop, holy crap, that thing is insane. You're just launching out of that mountain at a high speed. It is just, and plus it is iconic. It is just simply fantastic. Plus, this coaster, the coaster itself is just a lot of fun. I personally I'm just a big fan of Expedition Everest. And this coaster is just It's just one of the best family coasters, period. And yeah, definitely a great ride. Okay, we're getting to our top 5. This is where we're getting to the really, really fantastic drops. Coming at number 5 is Apollo's Chariot at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. The drop on this thing, oh my gosh, this drop is simply fantastic. So the coaster's height is 170 feet. However, the drop is 210 feet, which the drop of this ride is taller than the height of the ride itself, which is probably because of the terrain. This ride really does use the terrain to its advantage. In the drop, you just dive 210 feet into a subterranean area. It is so cool. But the whole ride, like I said, like I keep saying, the whole ride is just fantastic. This might be the weakest B&M Hyper in my opinion, from what I've ridden at the moment, but it is still a lot of fun. Like if you go to Busch Gardens Williamsburg, don't miss on Apollo's Chariot. It's in my opinion the best coaster at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And yeah, this coaster is definitely an airtime machine, especially those airtime hills towards the end. So yeah, Apollo's Chariot, like the drop is just incredible, and that's that. Let's move on to number 4, which is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. When I think of Mako's drop, I think of a mini Fury 325. If you're like, this drop is just incredible. This is a 10 out of 10 drop for me. Like the front row, you'll kind of get a little like pulled over right before, and then you start speeding up a little bit towards the bottom. However, if you're in that back row, you will get a ton of whip, and it is just incredible. And I mean, plus this coaster itself is just incredible. It's insanely smooth, has some fantastic airtime. It is more than worth your while. And like I said earlier, that drop is kind of like a mini Fury 325 drop. It is amazing. And literally, not to one-up it, but literally one-upping it, is actually Fury 325 at Carowinds, which this drop was just unbelievable. Like the drop, it does kind of feel like Mako a little bit. However, the thing that gives Fury the advantage is that the drop is just, it goes on forever. Like the drop, it just seems to never end. It is just incredible. And if you know me for a long time, you know this is currently my favorite coaster I've done, period. Like, because of its insanely long ride, amazing speed, amazing intensity. It just has everything you could want. And the drop itself is just unbeatable. So yeah, it definitely has an incredible first drop. Coming at number 2 is going to surprise some people. I haven't really talked about the drop on this coaster that much. But coming at number 2 is going to Sky Rush at Hershey Park. I rode this coaster only once. And when I first rode this roller coaster, it was my 100th roller coaster. And as I got off of it, I just fell in love with this roller coaster. This thing is a G-force monster. It is an airtime monster as well. And that first drop, oh my gosh. I sat in the 4th row and I still got an insane amount of whip. Like an insane amount of airtime. And I would love to ride this thing in the back row. I'm kind of upset I didn't get to do it in the back row. But that back row, oh my gosh, I can probably tell that the back row is just mental. But the whole ride is just mental. Like this thing is violent. This is a violent roller coaster. And I was just so impressed with this roller coaster in general. And the drop itself. However, I just had to give number 1 to, which is a tie. I just had to give number 1 to SheiKra and Griffon. Now, the reason why I'm putting these together is that the drops are kind of the same on these roller coasters. These are both B&M, so I can say number 1 goes to B&M dive coasters, if I could say it like that. However, the drops on these 2 coasters are just unbeatable. What I like about the drops on these 2 coasters is that you literally hang at the top for 5 seconds, and then you just plunge straight down. It is just very anticipating, scary, and just unbelievable. That's one of my favorite things about B&M dive coasters is their first drops. Now, some people will go like, "Oh, really, Zach? B&M dive coasters are one-trick ponies." And I can certainly see that, but I mean, I mean, the drops, in my opinion, are the highlight of these two roller coasters. They really are. And that is why I have ranked these two coasters as the best drops of any roller coaster that I've ridden. So that will finish off this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment down below. What are your favorite drops that you've experienced on a roller coaster? Do you agree with my opinions? Do you not? Also, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more countdowns in the future. Also, don't forget to check out the social media link, which will be in the description below. I will see you guys next time. Have a theme-tacular day.